When you're a legend, people tend to give you titles. Mr. Dynamite, the hardest working man in show business, or the godfather of soul. But this legend doesn't rest on his laurels. In fact, right now he's rapping about unity. That's the title of his collaborative effort with fellow musician Afrika Bambaataa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. James Brown. Welcome. It's nice to see you. It's been...
Oh, that don't sound right. James Brown, no.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
No.
I haven't seen you in, what, 5 years. It's turned around for you since then. I mean, you really have found...
One time since that, here in Washington.
Right.
You remember?
Yeah, oh, sure. We did a broadcast together.
Well, no, the first thing, I mean, my prediction came true.
Oh.
I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I said the first time I saw you that you would be one of the great people, and I think that you just started. I think that your career just beginning.
Well, thank you. I want to talk about you.
All right. See,
what's happened? Unity is attracting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Is it? How did it come about? How come you're doing this kind of thing? What about the collaboration?
Well, I've been doing humanitarian things all my life. If I told you when I first started out I want to help humanity, I would be kidding myself, because when I first started out I wanted to help myself. But then later on you find you can only wear one pair of shoes, you can only drive one car, you can only live in one home. You know, it's those things you can only do, you know, at one time. So you say, what else can I do to kind of feel like I'm doing the greatest thing in the world?
Make your soul feel good.
That's right. Aside from the fact that I'm a born-again Christian, I went into this years back, you know. But even before I became a born-again Christian, I was doing this because, but don't be a dropout, say it loud, open up the door. And then I was almost every predominant black institution. I hate to use that word because I think black should be something that you should name for things and not people, but I just figure everybody should just be people. You should be a social security number or whatever. But I been doing this all my life, and in some way or another, I've been kind of a preacher in something, telling people what they should do and a lot of things, and you know, helping out, and then going back to, like I said, all the black institutions in this country. 98% of them at one time had a scholarship fund, and most time I still have.
You've raised a lot of money.
I enjoy doing it.
For the United Negro College Fund.
Yes, and also the Cancer Society. I work with B'nai B'rith. I work with a lot of different groups, and I've just done a lot of good things. Things I'm proud of myself. All the education boards around the country I work with, and I enjoy doing it. Don't want no pay for it, because the pay is seeing the smiling faces. Now God say a true giver is a man who don't want no thanks, but I think that's where I backslide at, because when I give somebody something, the expression on their face does more for me.
Gives a lot to your soul.
Yeah.
Tell me about Unity.
Unity?
This is the album that everybody's talking about.
Unity to me is going to be probably the greatest thing, not because I had a part in it, because you and everybody has a part in it. Because we're talking about using nuclear energy to extend life, not to stop it. We know that the country must have a strong defense, because with a defense, then you can talk peace.
That's the message.
Yes. But the message is, use this for something else, not try to destroy the country.
I want to take a look at it so the audience at home knows what we're talking about. Here is the new album, James Brown, Afrika Bambaataa, Unity. Tell me what you see. What's happening?
Well, you see the different countries there, coming up on the screen now. Talking to different people in different countries, in different languages, because this is a world record, unlike most records come out today. Yes, that's the school issue. That's 11 piece. I think that's part of South Salvador. It'll come up in Russian. It'll come up in French. It'll come up in different languages.
Yeah. Now explain to us who Africa wanted to do this with you. He came out of the South Bronx. He really did something important in terms of channeling the music of the streets of the South Bronx.
Africa come up from what I did in the 60s, but the hip-hop groups and the rap groups, they are real plentiful in New York, well, all throughout the world, but in New York, there were gangs, and then he started them to thinking another way, along with a lot of help, a lot of groups there working the same way.
Channeling all that energy that's there.
Yeah, to self-esteem, to coming up with your own bootstraps, and to trying to think positive, you know. It's really a hard job. It's a very beautiful very warm, very soft-spoken young man, but are dealing with some very heavy, determined, strong young people. And for him to get out there in the middle of them and say, hey, let's go the other way with it, it's very important. Part of the Zulu nation now, the Zulu African nation, one of the strongest African nations ever in history. I think you know the history of the Zulu nation. And to get them to think, hey, let's all throw our arms around each other and think of extending and prolonging life. You know, some of the old things the things that we were doing a long time ago, the way we were thinking that, you know, trying to do good, trying to get ahead, trying to be all right, thinking for the good side of it. That's what we're trying to do, the positive side.
Is that what what's the rap movement?
Well, the rap movement is what I was doing in the 60s, Charlie, when you was still in high school, right?
College.
Oh, college, okay. Could be hard, but okay, college, all right. I'll make it a little
Listen,
older.
you came to North Carolina and it was, you know.
North Carolina, you didn't tell me about that, man. What part?
From near Durham, Henderson.
I know, yeah.
I know. Listen,
did you go to Chapel Hill or what?
No, I went to Duke. This audience wants to hear about you, not about me.
Right, Charlie. But
the rap movement came out of the 60s.
rap movement came out from James Brown. So I started the rap movement with a song called Brother Rap.
Right.
And I came up with the spelling for it, R-A-P-P. Because I didn't want to get it across, but I didn't want to get it confused with Rap Brown. At that time, I was trying to keep calm the riots, which I did do in Washington.
Sure you did.
Assassinated Dr. King, which is a bad memory, but a good outcome, you know. It was positive doing that. But the word rap is like a
You were one of the few voices that people were listening to at that time during the 60s, because so much of what was happening in the cities, people were looking for someone that people in the streets could relate to, and you were one of the people that people could relate to.
I have a big job with it now. I talked to the White House and the people at the White House, Vice President, President, his office, Senator Strom Thurmond, who's very close to my family for a long time, and all of the people throughout the country, throughout the world, not just the administration there now, but whether it's Democrat or Republican, I talk to all the people. But I'm very involved in that all the time. Quite my wife, she say, you know, 3 or 4 in the morning, when you gonna have time for us? It's just something I live all the time. It's a true thing that I live that.
When we come back, I want to sort of take a look back at James Brown and the whole spread forward, the whole evolution of all the people that you have influenced and the extraordinary...
Can't get them all on here.
Well, we'll talk about some of them. There's some of the legends.
I can always come back, you know.
We'll have you back. James Brown, my man, back in a moment. Stay with us. James Brown, tell me about this. This is a legendary performance.
That is probably the hardest dancing thing I've ever done in my life. My manager was standing in the wing with tears in his eyes.
You are wonderful.
But I do the same thing now.
You still do?
Oh, yeah.
And you're 51 years old?
51 years old, and everybody want me to be 56.
You don't worry about age, though, do you?
I don't worry about it.
Tell me about that performance, because the Rolling Stones were on the same...
On the same bill. And I think Mick...
And here is Mick, who takes some pride over the fact that you are part of the legacy that he drew on in terms of becoming a dancer and moving out front.
And went a different direction, because you know, the Beatles were doing one thing, and Mick had to beat that thing, so he went another direction, and he went more soulful. Mick...
Tell me about that performance, though, because...
That particular performance?
Yeah. Did you want to show that you were still... the godfather, the king of performing on the stage?
I had never had the opportunity to perform in front of that many people, and 99% different audience. I hit the label again, but 99% white audience. I needed that audience. And I was the only R&B singer, classic R&B at that time. They didn't, the word soul, they weren't using it. But I never was an R&B singer. I sung 1 or 2 songs. But I had to prove myself because I was out of company. I mean, I had Motown there, but Motown went pop. And James Brown...
Diana Ross. And
that's right. James Brown was still doing what you called at that time the chitlin circuit. And James Brown had to prove that he could do it across the board. And I danced for 30 minutes, and they applauded for 2 hours. And they just had to stop the show, to disrupt the show, and we had to take a break and let them cool out, because there was no way that nobody could come behind.
Is it fair to say
But
that...
thank God for that now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not... A lot of great performers. Chuck Berry was there.
Chuck Berry was there?
Oh, yeah, Jan and Dean, Donna Ross,
Yeah.
Smoking the Miracles, Marvin Gaye, Billy Joel.
Is that... I've never understood the link between rhythm and blues
And so,
and soul and even rock and how it all sort of swept forward, and Little Richard and Presley and all of that.
Little Richard did rock and roll.
Yeah.
He was rock and roll. He sanctified, did rock and roll. Little Richard, the one who found me in Macon and took me to Augusta.
Little Richard found you?
Yes, and to Core, Georgia.
He found you in Augusta and took you to Macon?
No, to Core, Georgia.
Yeah.
I was a juvenile delinquent, and I got out of trouble in Core, Georgia. And he found me there, which was the popular thing in that area. And we came to Macon. But we were so versatile.
Can you imagine being in Macon, Georgia, or Augusta, and on the same bill as Little Richard and James Brown?
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean,
we had a
is
group.
that rocking and rolling and soul and rhythm and blues all night long?
Well, what we had, I tell you, I love Richard, right? And Richard was dynamic. But we had 5 guys on the stage with me. And we were moving and we were singing the Dominoes, the Clover songs. And it was so powerful, Richard left and went to California. He couldn't stay there. Because he'd been #1 until we got there. And we had the same manager, Clint Brandler, who also had Otis too.
Otis Redding.
Yeah, he had Otis Redding too. So Clint Brandler was...
Was he the first to cross over? Otis Redding crossed over, in a sense. Did he get the white audience before the two of you did?
I had our white audience in the 60s.
On the dock.
But what got me, I lost a lot of the white kids when I say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud.
You think
which
so?
they didn't understand at that time. They thought I was separating. But I was trying to instill the pride in people, because it's hard for a man to do, a woman or a person to do anything when they don't have the pride. Yeah. And we got the pride going across. But then later on, the young people like you know what it was. I mean, you're from a different generation. And you were a generation that everybody really got into it and enjoyed the stuff. And today you say, hey, my man Brown, you know.
Yeah.
Look, hey man, it's just, I can't come across the street.
Oh, I know.
Washington, New York.
Go to a coffee shop
Paris.
and they're all there.
We did 1 million people in Paris.
I want to talk about the European thing, but let's take a look at what Mick Jagger's doing. I just want America to see the link between James Brown. You got him.
Oh, Lord.
You're tied down.
Too late.
Here is Mick Jagger. Giving Mick Jagger a chance. Let's take a look at Mick Jagger, and you'll see the link between what Jagger does. Tell me about it. This is Mick Jagger picking up on what James Brown.
No, I'm all over the stage. And Mick, realize that. You got to get Mick Jagger straight. It's hard to drive that long, but Mick goes out there, he does a fantastic job, and he never give up. And that intensity, they're just overdoing it all the time.
Bruce Springsteen gives that energy
yes.
too. I mean, I'm struck by the fact, even Little Richard and
Bruce,
you,
Bruce is one of my good friends.
Richard,
I love Bruce.
Bruce Springsteen,
yeah.
Jagger, you guys are every bit of energy that's there. You're giving to that audience.
That's right. That's right. Chuck Berry too.
Chuck Berry too. That's
yeah.
Right. Presley.
Yeah.
During the prime.
Oh yeah. Well, you can't get away from it. You can't not get away from it. There's a lot of this. See, a lot of people have confusion about Presley being the king of rock and roll, but he was the king of rock and roll because he was allowed to do things.
Right. Right.
And you go by record sales. And I mean, I can understand how Richard feels, and Richard probably started rock and roll earlier. Yeah. But you'll go with record sales. There was a big dispute by me and Presley. Yeah.
James Brown, he is a legend.
But you go by record sales, you can't get away from that.
I hope Unity sells millions and millions.
Well, I hope Unity will do what we want it to do. Save lives, turn people around.
I'm out of time, my friend.
You out of time?
Good to see you.
Hope you live 200 years. I live
James
200 years.